Hello everyone and welcome back to DaVinci Guitar. I'm Abigail, this is Jim, and we're excited to have you all back with us for a wrap-up of the major embellishment inversions. As a review, let's learn what the major embellishment inversions are. The major embellishment inversions are the major 7, the flat 7, the dominant 7th, and the major 6 chord. And we learned all of those in past lesson videos. We learned how to play the major 7 chords and the 2 roots and the 2 inversion forms. We learned how to play the dominant 7th in the 2 roots and the 2 inversions. And of course, we learned how to play the major 6th in the 2 roots and the 2 inversion forms. So what exactly makes up each of those chords from a theoretical basis? Well, a major 7 chord is a root, a third, a fifth, and a 7th note out of the major scale. For example, in the key of A, as we've been discussing, it would be an A, a C sharp, an E, and a G sharp. What about for a dominant 7th chord? A dominant 7th chord is a root, a third, a fifth, and a flat 7th. So in the key of A, an A dominant 7th chord would be an A, a C sharp, an E, and a G. What about a major 6th chord? What makes up that? A major 6th chord is made up of a root, a third, a fifth, and a 6th out of the major scale. In the key of A, it's a C sharp, an E, and an F sharp. With that theoretical basis now covered, let's move into reviewing the forms. And we've covered these all in past lesson videos, so you all can go back to our playlist entitled Inversions for the Guitar and check out the various forms that we show in detail there along with chord diagrams. For now, follow along with us as we review these forms. So let's go ahead and start with the major form, as it will help us get an idea of where we're walking down to. Major form in that first root that leads to third inversion is this. Moving down to the major 7, moving down to the dominant 7th, as Jim and I demonstrate, and moving down to the major 6. Hear that moving line in the bass? Pretty nice. Now, let's move on up to the second root form that we have. We're going to go right here. And then we're going to need to go to major 7. And then, of course, we're going to need to hit dominant 7th. And then lastly, we're going to hit major 6. Perfect. 2 roots covered. Now let's head on up to the 2 inversion forms. Again, to make it first inversion, we need to go to the C sharp note, because that's the 3rd note out of an A major scale. To make it first inversion, I'm sure you can all repeat it with me right now. We simply take the 3rd note and transform that into our new root. So let's go ahead on up here to our C sharp. And remember that this is our major. Bring it down, major 7. Now, you gotta twist the hand around a little bit here. Just turn it around, hit that dominant 7th, and lastly, hit the major 6. Perfect, you got it. Now, let's move on up to our second inversion. Now, second inversion means that we need to go to the 5th note of the scale and transform that into our new root. The 5th note of an A major scale is an E. So we simply need to go up there and use our form that we have. Major. Bring it down for major 7. Bring it down one more time for dominant 7th. And lastly, major 6. You got it. So that is the wrap up of the major embellishment inversions all the way up the board in the key of A. But again, they can be applied to any key at all just by knowing the various notes made up of the scale and applying it. So now we're going to turn it over to Jim, who's going to continue.
Thanks, Abigail. So today we're going to go over the moving line, and notice that the first in one of the roots that turn into third inversion, actually the moving line is going to be in the bass. So it's going to look like this. A, major 7th, dominant 7th, and 6th. The moving line was in the bass. Next, the moving line here is going to be on the D string, and it's going to be in the harmony. So here's our major, major 7th, dominant 7th, and major 6th. Now we're going to go to first inversion. As she said, we're going to start on the C sharp, and the melody line is going to be in the top, and that's going to be the moving line. Major, major 7th, dominant 7th, and 6th. And now we're going to move to the second inversion. I'm going to bring my guitar up a little. And what we're going to do is now we're going to have the line on the G string. Okay? And it's going to sound like this. Major 7th, drop the line, dominant 7th, and the 6th. And that's the wrap up.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Jim. We hope that you all were able to gain something from this wrap-up of the major embellishment inversions. Make sure to apply these to your playing. As we learned, these are tensions or extensions you can add to the major chord, and they really make it quite colorful. We hope that you're able to apply this in your own playing, and let us know how it goes. Thank you so much for watching DaVinci Guitar.